Yes, 101.1 FM and AM 1160. Something about this. You're supposed to press all the buttons at the right time, and I didn't there. But okay, we're good to go. Our conversation with Indiana Borough Police Chief Justin Schawl and with Indiana Mayor Bill Simmons this morning on Indiana in the Morning, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you both with us. Chief Schawl, you wanted us to meet this guy over here, but I think most of us know him, don't we?
Well, I did want you to meet him, and I think everybody knows him, or at least most everyone. So really proud and excited to introduce Mayor Simmons to your audience as a member of our public safety team. And yeah, Mayor Simmons has been great. It's been a busy 3 months for him, I'm sure, almost four. But he's no stranger to Indiana Borough. That I am certain.
Absolutely not. And when we think of Bill Simmons, of course, we think as well as the Indiana Fire Association and all those many years with that organization. So, yeah, public safety is part of what you do, isn't it?
That's exactly right, and that's why I was interested in the mayor's job, because it ties right in. I signed up for a webinar that takes place this Saturday, and it's called "I've Been Elected Mayor. Now What?" And I think it was just that "now what" made me say, I've got to go see what this is all about. Mm-hmm. But it is public safety, and I've spent about over 40 years with the fire department and over 20 years with Citizens Ambulance. So the police, that's obviously the third leg of the stool in public safety. So it's been interesting for me to kind of observe how to fit all that together and put it to good use. And I think one message that I try to get by with people is that in order to continue to have the high quality public safety that we're having here in the community, we need to have economic development. And so I'm hoping that we can entice more businesses to come to our community and beef up the tax base so that we can support the safety that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And the strong borough police department is important. That means you have to have people that you trust in that job. Chief Schawl, of course, you've been here for, what is it now, 2 years, 3 years?
So I've been chief for three. I finished my third year as chief, and 21 total with the Indiana Police Department.
Yeah. And in all that time, of course, you've seen changes, not only in the mayor's position, but in the way that the town is viewed, in the actual physical outlay of the town, and what it looks like now as opposed to all those years ago. And I think the mayor's right. I mean, you're looking at economic development. It's all part of one big puzzle that's getting put together. The appearance of the town and the people who are in positions that they can lead, and it's all pretty important.
Well, it is. It's all connected, and I always say about public safety that it's everyone has a responsibility in public safety, and everyone's effort is important. So certainly, you have a committed police department, and so to the mayor's point, the more we can do for community success, the better we all are. Mm-hmm. And having the right people in the right places does make it a lot easier and a lot more efficient to get to where ultimately we want to be, which is high quality of life, safe community safety, and community development. Of course, because we always are wanting the best. We always want to bring the best, and so success it's multi-phased for sure. So certainly glad to have the mayor and that vision in office.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, does it look different? Does the police department look different from the inside than it did from the outside?
Oh, it does. First off, it's good to meet everybody. Still challenging to remember everybody's name. It's nice they have little name tags. That helps. But they're very professional. And I think that people should realize that they're very approachable and that they shouldn't steer away whenever they're having any kind of issue. They should actually sit with them and say, hey, this is what I've bumped into. How can you help me out? I think they're very helpful.
Yeah, one of the interesting things to me is watching the Indiana Borough Police, because as Chief Schawl and I have talked about a lot, it's a different job at nighttime and between midnight and 6 a.m. than it is in the daytime. It just the character of the job changes. The basic duties might shift a little bit as well, and it takes a special person to be able to adapt to whatever that situation is.
That's right. And, I've seen the collaboration of police, fire, and EMS whenever the chips are down and something's really occurring, where police might be the first ones on the scene, and then the fire department and the ambulance come together. And that's what really, helps to take care of an issue that we're bumping into.
Yeah. Chief Schawl, as we think about where we go from here moving into the spring of the year, and the way that not only does it change, as I said, from nighttime to daytime, what happens with Indiana Borough Police, but different day parts or different year parts, they change the duties as well, don't they?
That's right. Indiana Borough is a challenging community, and it's a challenging community for good reasons. But we do have some dynamic things happening in the community. I've always said, we are a town of special events. Not only the Christmas tree capital of the world, but sometimes I feel like we're the special event capital of the world. So as weather gets nicer, we're going to have an influx of folks, visitors, community members coming out, visiting downtown. Traffic's picking up, so we need to be cognizant always of traffic safety efforts. And so, yeah, it does. In Indiana, it matters sometimes what season of the year we're in, what special events are coming up, whether IUP is in session or not in session. And to your point, overnight hours, that is sometimes a tale of two towns because activity is different.
Yeah.
And, God bless the police officers, not only in Indiana Borough, but in the state police and IUP police, because it is a difficult task. And to the mayor's point, there are so many times where we're so glad to hear sirens from a fire truck or an ambulance coming because we're all connected. We're all better together and we're all connected. And so everything that we can do to continue that, to build a robust first responder effort in Indiana County and specifically in Indiana Borough and White Township and all of our other partners, extremely important to everyone's success.
In our next hour, I'll be talking with a retired lieutenant commander of the New York City Police Department and about police respect and the respect for police, the work that they do, the risks that they take, the pride that they have in being police officers and the support of each other. And Mayor Simmons, of course, I know that pride in the job, it trickles down from more than just uniform regulations. It's important to look good in the job, but to be the kind of people that you want Indiana Borough police officers to be.
That's correct. That's right. And one feature that Indiana Borough Police has is Axel, who's their comfort dog, which is very helpful and ties in nicely with the youth in the community, because that gives the children a chance to not only pet the dog, but then get to know the patrolman at the same time. So I think that starts a good relationship that hopefully moves forward as they get older.
And that visibility aspect of it all, Axel is a big part of that, but just the everyday. I love when the spring of the year comes and you start to see officers who are walking the street, and riding the bicycles, and making themselves out there so that people know how relatable they are. They're residents just as well as everybody else.
That's right. And I'm thinking of special events and the Wonderful Life Parade that occurred. Downtown Indiana not only is downtown for Indiana Borough, but it's actually here for the whole county when you see events like that, because that was the largest group of people that I've seen, including homecoming parades. And they're from all over the county, and the police getting together with IUP police, state police, sheriff's department, to manage all that, and it went over very well. So I think downtown Indiana really is a place for the whole county.
Yeah, absolutely. Chief Schawl wanted to talk to you about the recently concluded IU Patties event and how police were able to respond to that and how that whole system of response has evolved over the last 5 years. It's you've got it down, it seems. Of course, one event can change everything, but it's a big challenge that you're striving very hard to meet every year.
So that's correct. And one event can change that dynamic. So I want to be careful and preface this with, what appears a success in 1 year requires so much planning and effort, and it's based on what we're seeing at the time. So the challenge for 2 weekends ago was that this is a social media driven event. So there's nothing really quote unquote formal about it other than there's a lot of social media chatter. So first responders, law enforcement are able to prepare for that weekend. From an Indiana Borough perspective, I would offer this. Our calls, I'm going to give a report to council tonight on our weekend activity. We handled around 182 calls for service, which is about 60 calls a day over that 3-day period, which is certainly an increase. In 2021, of course, we were in a different environment with COVID, but for some perspective, we handled 109 calls over the weekend. And then in 2019, for some additional perspective, when we hadn't yet heard about COVID, we handled around 226 calls. So that's really, I think, visually what we saw. We saw that gatherings occurred, but they occurred central to campus, and we were well supported because we were well planned. So planning takes place. I mean, planning it'll start soon for next year. just with conversations with partners, and it's a total effort. So the Pennsylvania State Police, the Sheriff's Department, IEP Police Department, Citizens Ambulance, Indiana Fire Association, Public Works, Code Department, Parking Department, we're all involved because it takes a community-wide effort to make sure that we're supporting everyone in the way that it's supported. So to your point about your guest later, which I've heard you on the radio talk about, it is important for us as first responders to know that we have community support. And it's also important for us as first responders to support our community. And so building relationships is extremely important. And I'm very excited to continue working with Mayor Simmons because he has these relationships built that can only benefit us here in Indiana Borough.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the weatherman is a big portion of IU Patties.
That's right. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, we're going to put him on the IACT board. Mayor, as we move forward now into more of your first year in office, obviously we'll look forward to furthering the relationship with the borough, with the town's residents and visitors to the town, and the police will be a big part of that. But that's just part of the entire mission for the town, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And I think we need to communicate with our White Township friends and different communities throughout Indiana County to join in to work together on projects because that's very important. And I mentioned police, fire, and EMS, and when it comes to Citizens Ambulance, they do protect the whole county, and it takes a group effort throughout to keep supporting that because they've come upon tough times, and we're hoping that we can keep all of that together at the quality that we have today.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Mayor, you can come back anytime. You don't have to wait for this guy to escort. You don't need a police escort to come in.
Well, thank you.
Chief Schawl, anything folks need to know about things coming up?
We're going to see a nicer weather, an increase in traffic, both vehicle and pedestrian, which is a good thing. But we need everyone to be patient, take their time, pay attention at intersections. Traffic safety is going to become extremely important. Not that it hasn't been in the past, but we're seeing an influx of traffic. So with an influx of special events, we're going to reroute traffic. We just need to stay vigilant for each other. Mm-hmm. So we just ask everyone to continue being patient, and we'll enjoy a great warm weather experience.
There you go. That's a good plan. Indiana Borough Police Chief Justin Schawl, Indiana Borough Mayor William Simmons. Thanks both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.